Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We're formally opening this meeting of the Illinois Board of Review for today, March 12th, 2024. So several preliminary matters. You should note that everyone has been muted so that we can maintain order and reduce the amount of distraction and noise in the background. You will be unmuted when your case is called. We'd ask everyone to just be aware that if you are participating today as an appellant and plan to be part of today's hearing, please dress appropriately. Please treat this as if this was a formal court hearing in the courthouse. So please do not be reclining in your bed or your easy chair. Please dress appropriately. Men should remove their hats, be fully clothed, and no night bedwear. Thank you. Also, the law department will be called upon shortly to give us a list of all cases that have been resolved or if there are any special consideration that's required. After we do that, we will begin calling our regular cases in normal order. I'd ask every appellant to pay close attention as the law department goes through the preliminary list because your matter may be noted as moot or moot complied. Uh, if you need further explanation as to what that means, please call the code administrator's office. The staff will explain that information to you. Please do not break into the hearing to ask for that explanation. And also, please pay close attention. So you are permitted to leave the hearing once your matter has been read as moot or moot complied. You're perfectly welcome to stay for the balance of the hearing. This is an open hearing for the public. However, if you have other things in your life you'd rather do after this hearing, your case has been resolved, please do that. No need to sit through 2 or 3 hours of the hearings if you don't need to. Thank you very much for your participation today and your attendance. The board itself and the panel will introduce itself, after which we will hear from the law department. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member.
Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger S. Tennant, senior board member.
Beverly Penn, board member.
Ken Washington, board member.
Cortez Patton, board member.
Ryan McSherry, board counsel.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Okay, who's representing the law department today with the preliminary list to resolve matters?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jim Kelly on behalf of the city.
Afternoon, Mr. Kelly. What do you have for us?
Starting with number 2, ending in 863, 1802 Gladstone Street, Loretta Marie Basualdo. That was a continuance request made by the appellant that the city is not opposing. It's the first listing.
Okay, it was noted as continued in executive session.
Thank you. The next is number 3, ending in 868 431 Lamont Street, ESA Investments LLC. That is moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 4, ending in 889 5217-21 North 2nd Street, Donna Dirksen, moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 5, ending in 914 3200 Capri Drive, Catherine Chang, moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 6, ending in 919 1721 Rodman Street, Teresa Volini. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $500 fine.
City affirm, $500 fine. Thank you.
Next is number 7, ending in 1021 109 Renard Terrace, Stephanie Lynn, moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 8, ending in 1024 5811 Montrose Street, Shirley Johnson Smith, moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 9, ending in 1026 1834 North 28th Street, Betty Garner. That's an agreement for a city affirm.
City affirm. Okay, thank you.
Number 10, ending in 1027 1731 Washington Avenue, 1702 Alter Street, LP. That's moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 11, ending in 1028 1731 Washington Avenue, McMar Associates Incorporated. That's moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 12, HA 2023-1030, 1731 Washington Avenue, McMar Associates, Inc. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $150 fine.
Okay, thank you.
Number 13, ending in 1031, 1731 Washington Avenue, McMar Associates, Inc. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $750 fine.
Thank you.
Number 14, ending in 1033, 1731 Washington Avenue, McMar Associates, Inc. It's an agreement for a city affirm with a $150 fine.
Thank you.
Number 15, 1056, 5317 North American Street, Guilford Jean, doing business as Zoe's Property Services, LLC. That's moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 16, ending in 1057, 1428 Kenilworth Street, Image General Contractor, LLC. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $200 fine.
Okay, so that's an agreement, city affirm. Okay. Thank you.
Number 17, ending in 1058, 1428 Kenilworth Street, Image General Contractor, LLC. That's an agreement for a city affirm with a $200 fine.
Thank you.
Number 18 is ending in 1059, 1428 Kenilworth Street, Image General Contractor, LLC. That's moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 19, ending in 1062, 1946 Federal Street, James No. That's moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 21, ending in 1092, 6224 Wayne Avenue, Johnny Dorsey Jr. doing business as Auto Builders, Inc. That's an agreement for a city affirm with 90 days stay of enforcement.
City affirm 90-day stay. Okay.
Correct. Number 22, ending in 1099, 3451 A Street, Zion Hamav, LLC. That's moot.
Moot. Okay, thank you.
Number 23, ending in 1101, 92 to 19 Milner Street, Elizabeth Barek, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 25, ending in 1121, 6030 Baltimore Avenue, Michael McCrae. It's an agreement with a city affirm plus a $250 fine.
250. Okay, thank you.
Number 26, ending in 1123, 1629 Westmoreland Street, Odell Johnson, moot.
Thank you.
Number 27, ending in 1135, 6463 North 16th Street, Virgil Williams Jr. It's an agreement with a city affirm plus a 90-day stay of enforcement.
90-day stay. Okay, thank you.
Number 28, ending in 1139, 2229 Mutter Street, Julio and Iris Rodriguez, moot.
Thank you.
Number 30, ending in 1148, 2900 South 20th Street, Richard Kinderman, moot.
Thank you.
Number 31, 1183, 3133 Hellerman Street, Alexander Kalesa, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 32, 1187, 2724 Earp Street, Savetta Property Group, LLC, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 33, ending in 1217, 1737 Orthodox Street, J&J Real Estate Investments, LLC. It's an agreement for a city affirm with a 60-day stay of enforcement.
60-day stay. All right, thank you.
Number 34, ending in 1235, 5338 Euclid Street, Joseph Wilson, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 35, ending in 1266, 1631 Packer Avenue, Louis Cerrone. That's a continuance request made by the appellant that the city's not opposing.
Okay, now we had considerable discussion in executive session. there was a request that we continue this to June. The board is not inclined to continue this to June. Is the appellant present? Is the
Yes.
attorney of record present?
Yes, sir. Jeffrey Scafaria for appellant on 1631 Packer Avenue. I'm waiting for a report from the architect, and I'm attached for trial in May for the jury pool in May. So I'm on vacation at the end of March. So my window is a small window in between in April, and I don't know if the architect's going to be done by then. We've had a request for the drawings to be revised. So I don't want to schedule it and then ask for another continuance.
Well, we may have to have you do that because June is just too far out.
I understand.
Given the nature of things. Mr. Kelly, any concern or response?
The city has no opposition to the continuance request. It's my understanding that Mr. Scafaria was relatively recently retained on this case. So we don't have any objection to a continuance request. We just ask that it be heard at the next listing when it can be.
Okay. Sir, if April is the window, let's try to shoot for that. If it doesn't work, then you can request another continuance.
I would just ask if it's towards the end of April. That gives me a little bit more time to try and push the architect.
Okay, do that because we want to keep this calendar cleared out as much as possible. We had so many requests for continuance. It's becoming a huge problem. So we need to just move cases along so they don't get stale.
I understand. So any date towards the end of April would be perfectly fine.
Okay. Mr. Wade, please note that when you're rescheduling this one.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. What's next, Mr. Kelly?
Next one is number 36, ending in 1328, 746 North 40th Street, 746 North 40th Street, LLC. That's an agreement for a city affirm plus a $1,000 fine.
City for a $1,000 fine? Okay.
I'm sorry,
Next.
would you, which case is that, please? I'm sorry.
That's number 36, ending in 1328, 746 North 40th Street.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Thank you.
Next one is number 38, ending in 1337, 250 Gates Street, Northeast Renovations, LLC. It's our understanding that that's been withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn? Okay. Thank you.
Number 39, ending in 1347, 24 North 42nd Street, Atef Kershan. That's an agreement for a city affirm plus a 60-day stay of enforcement.
60-day stay? Okay. Thank you.
Number 40, HA 2023-001348, 24 North 42nd Street, Atef Kershan, moot.
Moot. Okay. Thank you.
Next is number 42, ending in 1388, 138 South 8th Street, Thomas Kyle and Sharon Baxter, moot complied.
Moot complied? Okay. Thank you.
Number 43 through 46, I can read the numbers. This is all one continuance request that's unopposed by the city. This is for number 43, 1400, number 44, 1402, number 45, 1403, and number 46, 1404. For the properties at 2308 through 2312 Aramingo Avenue, all with the appellant Georgia Shafia. Those are continuance requests that are unopposed by the city.
Okay. So noted, and we granted that request in executive session.
And that is all that I have, although I do believe that at least one of my colleagues has something else.
Okay. Please use the usual raised hand if you need to be acknowledged with the law department. Okay. Let's see. To Kristen Partial. You're muted, ma'am.
Good morning, Chairman. My name is Kristen Patchell for the city. This is with reference to number 29 on the list, the property at 7930 Bustleton Avenue. This matter is moot, Chairman. However, I just wanted to make a record. This was originally a denial of a special assembly license due to disapproval by the PPD 2nd District. However, upon further review of their documentation, the Philadelphia Police Department withdrew this objection. Therefore, the matter is moot.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Dejanay Davis.
Good afternoon, board. I would like to draw the board's attention to number 47 on the list.
47, okay.
Yes, appeal number HA 2023-001495. There was a continuous request by the appellant, Mr. Jermaine Harris, who is also here, I believe, to which the city has no objection to that continuous request.
Okay, there are two properties, 47 and 48. What about 48? Which
48
also...
it is my understanding on my list that 48 is moot as the electrical permit has been obtained.
Okay, Mr. Harris, are you present?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I am. Good afternoon, board. Yes, I'm requesting a continuance. Myself and Attorney Davis are working out a settlement or resolution of this matter. So I would respectfully request all of the violations except for one has been complied with on this in the violation list. So I respectfully request a 90-day continuance, so that way I don't have to keep asking for a continuance. The last violation that remains a certificate of occupancy, and that takes a while in order to get that because this is a 3-family dwelling and there may be fire protection that's required. So I would respectfully request a 90-day date to give me time to comply.
Ms. Davis, do you object to the 90 days?
The city has no objection.
Okay, now the electrical permit you noted as moot, is correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and also just to clarify the record, Mr. Harris, are you an attorney representing the appellant, or are you the appellant and an attorney also?
I'm the appellant and the attorney.
Okay, so you're representing yourself in this matter?
I'm representing myself.
Okay, all right, thank you. All righty, so we will note that 1495 has been continued for 90 days, and that 1497 is moot. And that's all referencing 817 South St. Bernard Street. All right,
yes.
Thank you.
May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Have a good afternoon. Ms. Davis, anything else?
No, not at this time. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Mary Costello.
Good afternoon, Chairman Woodson. For number 49, that's appeal number HA 2023-001524-7133 Edmund Street. That matter is moot.
Moot, thank you.
For number 50, appeal number HA 2023-001981-127 East Mermaid Lane. That matter is also moot.
Moot, thank you.
And for number 52, this was an emergency add-on on the list. It's appeal number HA 2024-000499 for 51017 Pentridge Street. That matter, after several discussions with the appellant, he has not obtained an attorney yet. So it would need to be listed for another date, but I also believe that we will be able to come to a resolution in the meantime.
Okay, the board reviewed this request in executive session, so we are not inclined to continue this. This is an emergency request, and so we added it on to today's list. Is the appellant present, Jerome Moore? And it's also noted as an intent to cease.
He should be present, but I also have Inspector Yolanda Talbert. She's on the call today, and he has already been able to comply 9 of the outstanding fire code violations, which is why we are inclined to allow a continuance for him to obtain an attorney, but at the same time, we are working on resolving it with him, likely later today. I just didn't have time to draft the agreement before.
Okay, so just so the record is clear, an agreement is being negotiated.
Yes.
Okay, just so I want to make sure. And you're confident that that agreement will be executed between the parties and nullify the need for a future hearing?
I am confident, and then additionally, the fire code violations that would lend this hearing to be an emergency, 9 of those violations have already been complied.
Okay.
And they were complied this morning.
How many did you have?
In total, there were... In total, there were 11 violations, and 1 was for zoning and one was for a license.
So
So those,
all the fire code violations have been complied.
nearly every one. I think there's two that remain outstanding. One involves putting a sign, so we wouldn't consider that to
Okay.
be we
Okay.
wouldn't, yeah.
So, Mr. Jerome Moore, are you present?
Yes, I am present.
Okay, Mr. Moore, are you the tenant in this building?
I guess tenant owner, yes.
Okay, Mr. Moore, you requested an emergency hearing, which is a considerable. When we do that, we don't do that lightly, and so that's why I'm asking some very narrow and specific questions regarding this.
Can I say
Let me
something
finish.
about?
Not until I finish. This is something. Emergency hearing request is a real serious matter, and it really intrudes on our schedule. It adds a considerable amount of work to the staff, and so if you ask for one, you got to be ready to go. And so, explain yourself.
Well, I apologize. When I went to apply for the appeal, the woman at the desk said because of the time, that was her advice to do. Maybe I made the wrong appeal. Maybe I should have made a regular plain appeal, not an emergency appeal. I didn't know that it was, this involved, and I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, well, you had some serious fire code violations, and there was an intent to cease your business. That's another reason why we decided to do it. But based on the testimony or the information provided today by Ms. Costello with the law department, things have changed considerably. And so you need an attorney, so please do that quickly and have your attorney complete the negotiations with Mr. Costello. Mr. Costello, does he have to have counsel before you can complete the negotiations?
He does not, Chairman Woodson. He
Okay.
does, I believe, per the board's regulations, need to have counsel when appearing before you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Based on that, we will continue this matter. How much time do you need?
I was asking for 45 days.
Well, Ms. Costello, if the
I'm sorry.
agreement is
How long?
already...
How much time do we need to execute an agreement?
Yes.
That will be done by the end of the week.
Okay, Mr. Moore, if the agreement is satisfactory, then you're at the end. If you reach an agreement, you don't have to come back.
Okay, that's yes.
Okay, so if you can do that in a week, then that will have some very specific performance standards that you will have to meet. And if Ms. Costello is willing to work through that with you, then you won't be coming back unless you want to continue your appeal. But I suspect part of the agreement is to withdraw the appeal. Ms. Costello, am I correct?
You are correct, Chairman Woodson.
Okay. All right, so we will continue this. Noted that the agreement is imminent. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Costello, do you have anything else?
That was everything, Chairman Woodson.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let's see. I don't see any other hands that have been raised. There may be a few matters that are outstanding from our executive session that I need to check on. Just one moment. No, that's it. So I think we've taken care of all of our preliminary matters. Mr. Wade, any requests to go out of turn for scheduling?
There was a request from opposing counsel on case 53 due to another hearing.
Okay, who's representing? Is that something that the city is able to accommodate?
Yes, Amy Skiles, I would be representing the city for that matter. I am ready to proceed.
Okay, all right, Mr. Wade, let's call that one.
This is case.
Mr. Chairman, I note
Yes,
that it's an add-on case
Yes,
and it's an intent to cease.
yes, by Michael Construction. So noted. But if we're having we may in fact have some issues with our own staff if we don't sort of hear it right away. So I think we should go ahead. Okay, let's call it.
Case 53, hearing appeal 05 ending 0579, 4828 D Street, Michael Construction, Inc.
Okay. Who's present representing the appellant?
Joseph Consul from Michael's Construction, as well as Juan Pena, the owner of Michael's Construction.
Okay, so sir, you're legal counsel as well as part owner?
I'm not, no. Mr. Juan Pena is also on this call, and he's...
Oh, okay. Do you plan to have him testify today?
Yeah, I believe he will testify. Yeah.
Okay, so I just need to have him sworn. That's why I asked.
Okay.
If he's present, you can have him sworn now.
Yes, my name is Juan Peña for Michael Construction. Good afternoon.
Sir, you will need your video, so please turn your video on.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, just one moment. So, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yeah, help you God. Yes.
Thank you very much. Place your hand down. Okay, Ms. Skiles, do you have a witness today?
Yes, I would be calling Inspector Corley.
Okay, Inspector Corley. Inspector Corley. I don't see Inspector Corley.
I do see him. Inspector. I do. There.
Excuse me. You're muted, sir. If you unmute yourself and remove your hat. Thank you. Raise your hand so you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you very much. Okay. Ms. Skiles, you will proceed.
Yes. Good afternoon, Inspector Corley. Where are you currently employed?
License and inspection, East District.
And what are...
Code enforcement.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last few things you said.
Code enforcement is the actual, yes, department, yes.
I understand. And what are some of your roles and responsibilities with the Department of License and Inspections?
Well, I enforce the Philadelphia Fire Code as well as the Property Maintenance Code.
Okay.
For quality of life and fire safety violations.
Okay. And throughout the course of your duties with the department, have you become familiar with the property located at 4828 D Street?
Yes, I did. I went out on the initial complaint for no heat for the first floor tenant.
Okay. And if I may share my screen.
Yes, please.
Yes, okay. Just...
The initial complaint for the first floor tenant was on March the 28th.
Okay, Mr. Corley, just wait a minute.
Mr.
Corley, wait a minute.
Okay, so.
You're getting ahead of your attorney. So.
Yes.
Okay.
And Inspector Corley, okay, let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay, it's present. I can see the screen. Yes.
Okay, so you were saying that you received a complaint of this property not having heat.
Correct.
And so did you go out to the property to complete an inspection?
Yes, I did.
And when did you go ahead?
It was on, like I said earlier, sorry to jump ahead, but it was in November the 23rd of 2023.
Okay.
28th, I'm sorry, November 28th, 2023.
Okay. And what did you observe upon your inspection of the property?
I went into the first floor apartment. The tenant allowed me to go in. I inspected the property. It didn't have any heat. So upon further inspection, I went to the basement to take a look at the furnace and see was there any issues with the furnace or the heating system, which I was allowed into the basement by another occupant or tenant in the basement. And I was able to take pictures of the inoperable or defective furnace for the first floor apartment.
Okay. And so based on what you observed at your inspection, did you issue a notice of violation?
Yes, I issued several violations at the time. One was for the inoperable or broken furnace. Yes.
Okay. So then directing our attention to the screen, what's identified as City Exhibit 1, what is this document?
That's the notice of violation.
Okay. And was the date that this notice was issued?
December the 1st of 2023.
Okay. And so what violations did you issue to this property?
Give me a second. There was a violation for a certificate of occupancy, and that was for the 3 units but that is zoned as a single family, but they had 3 units at the time. So I issued a certificate of occupancy. I issued a unfit violation because it didn't have any heat. I issued a mechanical violation for the inoperable heater, the rental license, the new use zoning violation, because it, like I said, it was a single family and it was turned into a triplex. For the carbon monoxide for the first floor apartment, a smoke detector for the first floor apartment, as well as some, I think a receptacle issue or a open junction box, something to that nature.
Okay. Okay. And so moving on to City Exhibit 2, can you identify what is in this photograph?
That is the front door leading to the first floor and second floor apartments.
Okay. And did you take this photograph at your initial inspection?
Yes.
Okay. And then what is depicted in this photograph?
That is the second floor apartment, the front door or entry door.
Entry. Okay. And then now directing your attention to this, what is in this photograph?
That was the inoperable furnace, or the furnace that was not working at the time.
Okay.
Or one of the furnaces, yes, that was not working at the time.
And then what's depicted in this photograph?
That's a picture of the entire heating system throughout the building. So there were several furnaces in the basement, but only one was working.
Only one was working. Okay.
Correct.
And then what's depicted in this photograph?
That is to identify that the gas services was working, to ensure that there is gas coming into the property, and that's the stove in the first floor apartment. And we kind of take that picture to verify that there's gas services in the building.
Okay. Okay, so you initially inspected the property in November of 2023, and you issued a notice of violation. When did you next inspect the property?
The second inspection was done January the 12th.
January
of 2024.
Okay. And at that time, had any of your initial violations been complied?
No, they was not.
Was there still no heat to 2 of the units?
Yes, there was still no heat in the unit that I initially went to, which was the first floor. The second floor didn't have a complaint, and I never went inside the second floor. And the basement tenant did not complain of no heat, just the first floor apartment.
Okay. But at your second inspection, you were able to confirm that there was still no heat to that unit?
Yes.
Okay. And you had mentioned that this is currently zoned as a single family residence.
Yes, it is.
And it's currently being used as a triplex.
It looks good. You want to add some grass or?
Okay, someone should be muted. Someone. I'm sorry, Ms. Skiles, just one moment.
Yep.
Mr. Wade, if you could mute that individual.
Let's get it on here. Let's start with this, and then we'll see what we.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Skiles.
Yes. Okay, Inspector Quilley, you were saying this is zoned as a single family residence.
Yes, it is.
And how many units are currently in this property?
There are 3 units. A first floor, the initial inspection I've done, second floor, and someone is a tenant in the basement as well.
Okay. And would a use registration permit or a new zoning permit be required to legalize those 3 units?
Yes.
And
yes, zoning is required. A zoning permit is required, as well as a certificate of occupancy, because it went from a R3, which is 1-2 family, to a 3 family.
Okay. And so when you re-inspected in January was there appropriate zoning obtained for the 3 units?
No, no, it wasn't.
And was there a certificate of occupancy obtained for the 3 units?
No, it wasn't.
What about a rental license? Are there active rental licenses for this property?
No, there was not an active rental license on the property at all.
Okay. So what did you do in response to those violations not being complied at your January inspection?
I re-inspected the property on January the 30th. And well, let's go back. On January the 12th, I initiated an intent to cease on the property. So from January the 12th, 2024, until the third inspection, which was January the 30th, which I put in to have the property ceased, there was still no zoning, no rental license, and still, nothing's done to the property. So the property was ceased on January the 30th, 2024.
Okay. So let's just back up very briefly. Directing our attention to City Exhibit 3, what is this document?
That's the notice of intent to cease, the cease order. Yes.
And you issued this notice of intent to cease after your inspection on January 12th?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. And this also included a date at which point the cease would become effective?
Yes, which was January the 30th.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you issued this intent to cease on January 12th, and you re-inspected January 30th. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. So then directing our attention to City Exhibit 4, are these the photographs you took on your January 30th re-inspection?
Yes, they are. And the sign is posted on the window, but I don't know if you can zoom it in, but it does have the date and everything. And yes, that was January 30th. Okay.
And then I'll move down. Is this the cease that you posted on the window of the front property?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay. And then you also posted a cease at the basement unit as well?
Yes, at the basement door, yes.
Okay. So to your knowledge, when you ceased the property on January 30th, had the heat been fixed?
No, no one had, the owner or the occupants was not in cooperation with me to allow me to go back in to verify if any of the violations have been complied. Okay. So yes, I got no cooperation from the owner or from the tenants to get back in to do another interior inspection to verify any violation, if any violations have been complied.
Okay. So as we sit here today, as far as the department is aware, this property is still unfit to be habitable?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on the zoning, no heat.
No heat. And as we sit here today, is there appropriate zoning for this property?
No, it hasn't. No.
Are there
zoning has been applied for? No, it hasn't.
Okay. Is there an active certificate of occupancy?
No, not at this time. No.
What about rental licenses? Are there active rental licenses?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So at this time, is it your position that it would be a hazard to the safety and health of any occupants to continue to occupy this property?
Yes.
And why is that?
For number one, the basement is not zoned for occupants, and it has several appliances in the basement without proper ventilation. So I would, suggest that is definitely a safety hazard. With no windows and no proper ventilation in the basement, there should not be no tenants in the basement. Not only are they not zoned for it, it's a serious fire hazard. If a fire was to start down there without any windows or any other means of exit out of that basement, yes, it's a fire hazard, as well as the first floor not having heat. The tenants does have an infant, when I went to do the initial inspection, the tenant did have an infant in the property, and without any heat in it, with the infant in the building, I would think that would be hazardous or a health risk to the child as well as to the tenant.
Thank you, Inspector Corley. I have no further questions for Inspector Corley at this time.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Consul, you any cross-examination?
No cross, except to say, Inspector Corley, you mentioned that you hadn't seen an application for zoning.
Wait, Mr. Consul. If you don't have any cross, let's go to move on. Then at a certain point, you can present your case. Okay.
Sure.
Hold on for a minute. Okay. Ms. Scales, do you have any additional witnesses?
No additional witnesses. I would just ask to move the city exhibits into the record.
So moved. All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Consul, is your opportunity to put on your case?
I'll call Mr. Juan Pena, representative of Michael J's Construction.
Okay, all right.
Are you available, Mr. Pena?
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
just one thing before you, Mr. Consul, just before you get started, just for your information and Mr. Pena's, if you have a requirement for a private consultation during the hearing, just let us know. We'll put you in a breakout room.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Thank you. Please proceed.
Mr. Pena, you're the owner of Michael J's Construction, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you own the property 4828 D Street?
Yes.
When did you purchase it?
This is couple of years ago.
Couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Could you tell me specifically when you purchased it? Was that
No, I don't remember exactly today. Yeah,
right.
but
if I told you it was June 28th of 2023, does that sound accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, so not a couple of years.
No. Yep.
Last June.
Yeah.
When you purchased it, was it occupied by the tenants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you aware that you needed the rental licenses when you purchased it?
No.
Have you applied for zoning to get the property zoned for 3 units?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware of when your zoning board hearing is?
No.
If I told you it was May 8th, 2024, would you agree that that's accurate?
Yes.
All right, I'll submit that we applied for zoning and we have a hearing on May 8th, 2024. Were you aware of the other violations against the property regarding the heat? And
no. Nobody may complain about that. Nobody. I don't know.
Mr. Chair, I hate to cut in.
Yes.
Just put on record that they having a hearing May 8th, 2024.
Yes, that's
But they had the hearing or they having the hearing?
It's being scheduled, has been scheduled for May 8th, 2024. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Consul?
Okay, so Mr. Pena, none of the tenants informed you that there was any issues with their heat?
No.
Okay. When did you learn that there was any issues with the heat at the property?
When the inspector go now, I think in January, he went over there, and the problem is nobody let me go into the apartment. Sometimes nobody, the tenant what's over there. And the first floor, I never ever, had heating over there, never. The second floor, the lady never opened the door. And the basement, nobody told me anything, After the inspector went over there and told me I had a problem, but I never saw the inspector. The tenant showed me the paper. But at this time, I don't know what I had to do. This is what I call you.
When did the tenant show you the paper?
Maybe, I think in the same day when he put the sign over there.
So when the sign was placed on the property, that's when you first became aware that there was any issues?
Yeah, because, the tenant called me afraid, say something that, the inspector said everybody had to move from the house. And everybody is scared,
Okay.
And this called me.
Okay, so you learned about these issues when the notices went up on the door, which the inspector said was January. Did you receive any of the previous notices of violation?
No.
Did you send any of those to me at any point?
No.
Okay, yeah, I'll submit that. First that I saw them was this morning when I got them from Attorney Skiles. So are the issues that are outstanding being dealt with? Not counting the zoning, which I've applied for you, but how about the other issues?
The other issue, I had to go back over there to see everything is fixed, you know, and I go by myself now because I don't believe to nobody now, you know. And I went over there to see if everybody said fix it. If no, say I have to change anything, I go to change it. I don't have no problem because I work with the city for, you know, if somebody had a problem in the apartment, I fix it right away because I don't want no problem.
Mr. Consul, that answer doesn't respond to your question.
So
maybe you should rephrase.
All right, Mr. Pena, have you addressed the issues yet?
No, yet.
Okay. When do you believe that the property will be fit for inspection besides the zoning issues?
Monday.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Scowls, any cross?
No cross.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes, sir. Please.
Good afternoon. My question to you is, when you purchased the property, you didn't have an inspection done?
Yeah, you know, everybody say everything is okay.
So you have that in writing that you had an inspection done and you passed the inspection with the broken heater and all that?
No, when
today? Have that in writing?
I don't understand the question.
You just said that everyone told you that everything was okay, correct?
No, this is when I bought the property.
And they told you everything was okay, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't have your own inspector go in there to find out whether everything was okay. And since they told you everything was okay, since you didn't understand the question before, I'm gonna repeat it.
Yeah.
Do you have that in writing?
I had to look it out the paper.
So you don't remember whether you got that in writing before you bought the property?
No.
Anyone else?
So when did you find out that you had to replace the heater?
Now, when the inspector say we have to change it because nobody may complain. You don't know. You never know what happened.
So that means that you was told January the 1st, 2023, that you needed to replace the heater.
No, this year.
No, I'm looking at when you issued the violation.
I never know anything say after this year. After
So on 11/29/2023, no one came and inspected your property and notified you that you was in violation.
No. I don't have no notice. Now I have it.
So when did you get a notice? When did you get a notice?
Because the lawyer sent it to me today, because I don't know anything at all about that.
Do you know, as the owner of the property, it's your responsibility to know what's going on?
Yeah, but si the tenant no say anything, how I know?
But I'm not talking about the tenant. I'm talking about you as the owner.
But he went over there because the tenant called him to make the complaint. This is what I know. If the tenant
let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you was at the property?
Was the last time what?
You was at the property.
January 30, 2024.
January 30th, 2024. So you haven't been in the property since you purchased it?
No, I purchased the property last year.
And you haven't been in the property since then?
No, to look at out the property, I went now this year to look at what the problem we have over there, because why the city go over there? Because
again, my question is to you again. When you went and purchased the property, you never looked at it. You never inspected. You never went there. You just bought the property on a whim.
Yeah, because the real estate say everything is okay. When you bought it from the real estate everything is perfect. You think you don't have no problem. You know, now I know I had a problem because the inspector went over there. And
could you tell me what real estate that was?
I had to look at all the paper. I don't have the papers over here in the front.
Can you tell me where it's located?
Yeah.
They're located. See, I go to her all the questions.
Mr. Chair, I don't have any more questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Just want to make sure, Mr. Pena, do you own other investment property in Philadelphia?
Yes.
How many other units do you own?
4.
Okay. How long have you been in the construction business in Philadelphia?
In Philadelphia for now 6 years.
6 years? Okay. Alrighty. And the address that your mail, what address do you use for all your official correspondence? What address is that?
I had 2212 Medari Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19141.
Okay, is that the address where the violation was addressed?
No.
What was the address of the violation?
This is another issue. 4828 DS Street.
Okay, now when you did you ever get a rental license for this property?
No, because they don't want to give me a license now because
when you bought it, did you get a rental license?
No.
Okay. No. All right. So you never gave the city your accurate address?
No.
Okay. All right. Just want to establish that. Okay. Anyone else have anything?
I have a question, Mr.
Well, wait. Just one thing. Sorry, Mr. Washington. Somebody else cut in. Just one thing.
Okay.
I heard another voice.
I had a question.
Oh, Mr. Pincus. Yeah.
When you purchase the property, or whenever anyone purchases a property in the city of Philadelphia, there's a requirement under the city code to get a housing certification, which lists the approved use at the property. Did you either get the housing certification, or did you make any review of the existing status of the property on the city's website to determine whether or not a 3-family use was in fact legally permitted?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Washington?
Yeah, just real quick. What is 7618 Lexington Avenue?
This is where I lived before.
And this is where you lived last year?
Last year, yeah.
And what is your present address?
1222 Medari Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 9141.
And you just testified that information was never forwarded to the city, correct?
Yes.
Okay. No more questions, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Anything else from anyone? Any closing argument from Mr. Consul or Ms. Skiles?
Briefly, yes. We are just asking for a city affirm today. These violations were issued in the beginning of December, and I think the department has been very reasonable in their timeline of this case. We issued the violations in the beginning of December, gave the owner until January 4th of 2024 to comply those violations. As Inspector Corley testified, he went back out January 12th. And after those 30 days to comply the violations, when he saw the violations were still not complied, he issued the cease and then issued the intent to cease, and then waited until January 30th of 2024 to effectuate the cease. I think that's important to note that the department has effectuated the cease. This property has been ceased. We do believe the tenants may be in the property still in violation of the cease. So we would just be asking for a city affirm to uphold that cease. I know that there is a pending ZBA hearing in March or in May for the zoning. However, it's the department's position that we cannot hold off, or we cannot lift that cease pending the hearing because of the other safety issues that you've heard about today. There's an occupant in the basement, and Inspector Corley testified to some of the fire hazards of that basement occupancy. There's no heat in the first floor unit. So occupancy of this building is a hazard to the health and safety of the occupants. So we would just be asking for a city affirm today.
Thank you. Any final argument, Mr. Consul?
I guess just like from a timeline perspective, you can check the date that we filed the zoning application. It was a week or so after the cease posters went up, which to me shows good faith in the sense that he's saying he didn't have notice prior to that. And when he got notice, he sent it to me. I'm looking at what I got from him, and the cease letters only mention the 3-unit, which again tracks with what he's saying, that he didn't have knowledge about the other issues. The cease doesn't mention other violations. We filed the zoning appeal and we'll be in front of the folks in May. I understand there's other safety hazards that are potentially problematic. I don't know what to do about that, nor what my client could do to remove the occupants, as the processes would be next to impossible to effectuate on any kind of a timeline that would appear to be relevant to your cease. I mean, I don't know how you would get rid of people. Anyway, that's what we have. Thanks.
Mr. Consul, I know this is unorthodox, but I'm curious. Very easy things, if we put in 2 new heaters, which should be done today, would help a whole lot. And your client is a contractor.
Yes.
An experienced individual.
Yes, and like I said, when I called him last night, because I had spoke to Attorney Skiles, he seemed surprised that someone had complained that the heat wasn't working and said that he would fix it immediately. So, and
today is another day, and he immediately would have been last night or today. He hasn't done it immediately.
Okay. All right. Well, that's for him to wrestle with.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else from anyone, we will hold the board. On HA 2024-000579, 4828 D Street, Michael Construction Company Incorporated, City affirmed.
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 Thank you very much. The vote is unanimous. City affirmed. Of course, Mr. Consul, you can appeal our decision should you choose to. Thank you very much for your participation. Please have a good day.
Thank you.
The inspector, the witnesses are excused.
Mr. Chair, we have several requests.
Okay.
We'll call case 20. I believe a settlement was reached, so we can call case 20. Hearing appeal ending 1082, 1358 Gillingham Street.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Board. Dejanay Davis on behalf of the City of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon.
I was able to get in contact with the appellant, Michael Jones, who was also present. We were able to enter into a settlement agreement, which I am still drafting and should be sent to the board by the end of the hearings today, in which the terms of that agreement is a city affirm with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, is Mr. Jones still with us? Mr. Jones?
Yes. Yes. Yes, Mayor.
Okay, just want you to confirm that in fact you agree with the terms that have been noted by the law department?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So city affirmed 90-day stay of enforcement. Thank you so much. You have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Chairman.
Okay. All right, have a good afternoon. Mr. Wade?
The next request was for case 24, hearing appeal ending 1104, 2528 West Oakdale Street, Linda S. Martin.
Okay. Who's handling that matter?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jim Kelly on behalf of the city. I just had requested this as the inspector on this case has indicated that she needs to leave by 4 o'clock, but I also I'm not sure if the appellant is here.
Okay. Linda S. Martin? Linda S. Martin.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. There's a different name on your screen. It says
I'm borrowing this from my neighbor.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kelly, you prepared to proceed?
I am, yes. I would call Inspector Tolbert, Yolanda Tolbert.
Okay. Inspector Tolbert, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Martin, if you would, what happened to Miss Martin? She left.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Okay. All right, Miss
I'm right
Martin,
here.
would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I affirm the truth.
Thank you. You can place your hand down. Okay, Mr. Kelly, why don't you proceed?
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tolbert, can you please state your name for the record?
Yolanda Tolbert,
And where are you currently employed?
City of Philadelphia.
Do you work for the Department of License and Inspections?
Yes.
And what's your position within the department?
Code enforcement inspector.
How long have you been working there for?
4 years.
Okay. And in that time, did you become familiar with the property at 2528 West Oakdale Street?
Been there one time.
Okay. And did you also have the opportunity to review the L&I case file for that property?
Yes.
Okay. So did you conduct an initial inspection at the property on February 23rd of 2023?
Yes.
And did that include an interior inspection?
That's correct.
Okay. And I was just asked to share my screen.
Yes, sir.
Someone could just let me know if you're able to see that.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Inspector Tolbert, do you recognize this document, which has been marked as City's Exhibit 1?
Yes.
And is this a notice of violation?
Yes.
When was it issued?
Data notice is February 24th, 2023.
Okay. And to whom was it issued in the top left?
Linda Martin.
Okay. And I'll scroll, but if you can just explain, if you can just state which violations were listed here.
Looks like it says cover exposed wires in the hallway ceiling, to install or replace missing smoke alarms, close large openings in the kitchen ceiling.
And then on the second page here, there's 3 more.
Install light in the hallway, repair or replace cracked ceiling tiles in the bathroom, close a large hole in the hallway ceiling.
And were those all violations that you observed during your inspection of the property?
Yeah.
Okay. As part of that inspection, did you also take photographs of the interior?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll move to City Exhibit, I believe it's...
Well, let's do them all at one time when you finish, Mr. Kelly, so we don't miss anything.
Yep, I just moving down to a City Exhibit 4.
Okay.
I'm sorry, City Exhibit 4. Inspector Tolbert, is this a photograph that you took at that initial inspection?
Yes.
And is this just the front of the property from the outside?
Yes.
Okay. Moving to the inside to the next picture, and I can zoom in if you need, but can you describe what we're looking at in this picture?
Looks like that's inside the property.
And are there any violations in this photograph?
You had to zoom in so I can see what it is. Missing smoke detector.
Okay.
Down.
Okay. And moving to the next photograph, where is this inside the property?
It looks like it's a hole in the ceiling.
Okay. And is that also one of the violations that you wrote?
Yes.
Okay. Moving to this next photograph, what are we looking at here?
Look like it's a hole. What is that? Yeah, look like something look like it might be the bathroom there.
Okay. And then moving to the next photo, what are we looking at here?
Look like there's a hole in the bathroom ceiling.
Okay. And is that all the way, like that's a clear hole through?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Did you attempt to do a reinspection prior to the hearing today?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Kelly, I'm having trouble. There's background noise coming from somewhere, making it hard to hear the inspector.
Yeah, I think I just noticed it. Mr. Corley's mic is still open. Mr. Wade, if you could mute that for Mr. Corley. That would be helpful. I think that's where the noise is coming from.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade? I don't think administrator. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's proceed.
Okay, thank you. Moving to City Exhibit 6. Is this when was this photograph taken? I can zoom in if you need.
That's not my picture, or that's somebody else's name. That look like it says Jay Tucker.
Okay. Is this part of the LNI case file for this case?
I believe so.
Okay. And what's the date on that?
2/27.
Okay. And 2024.
Yes.
And moving to the last photograph, which is Exhibit 7. Is this a photograph that you took yourself?
Yeah, that's the picture I took. Yes.
And what was the date of that?
That one that I took last Friday.
March 8th of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. Did you attempt to get inside on that day?
Yes, no one came.
No one answered the door?
No.
Has anybody, either the owner or any tenants or anyone reached out to you ever on this case?
No.
Okay. And I'm just going to scroll briefly back to City's Exhibit 3. Excuse me, City Exhibit 1 at the very bottom. Is that your name and email address on the notice of violation there?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And like you said, no one has ever responded to you in any way?
No.
Okay. As it stands, have any of these violations been marked as complied?
No.
All right. I would offer for cross at this point.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Talbert. Already, do we have any cross-examination questions from Ms. Martin? Ms. Linda Martin, do you
Yes.
have any questions based on the testimony?
Yes, I do.
What are you going to ask her?
First of all, I want to say
He's asking you to ask the inspector questions.
I would just ask who's talking on the other.
Yeah, Ms. Martin, there's another voice. That person shouldn't be speaking
she's just trying.
because.
She's not speaking. She's just trying to calm me down. That's all.
Okay. Okay, I understand that, but it creates confusion because we have a court reporter who's trying to record everybody's voice. And so
Right.
that person may need to write you a note rather than speaking because it creates confusion on our end. So take your time. If you don't, ma'am, if you do not have any questions, that's okay. But
I
we
do
just
have questions.
okay,
I
what is
do.
your question of the inspector?
It was saying that I didn't try to contact anybody in regards to those violations, but I did. I called the police, and I even had a doc number where I called the police and told them that she's destroyed my property. I haven't seen her. Oh, I hadn't talked to her since I think it was 2022 of August. That's when she called the police on me when I came down there to try to clean up the front. Nothing was wrong with that property. Nothing. She claimed she did all these calls to me. I hadn't heard from her since 2021. All this stuff that she tore up. She has tore up everything in my house. It didn't just start on this. She's got mad because I asked her to leave my property.
Okay, Miss Martin, I'm asking you just for this moment if you have any questions. So if that's the only question that you have another question for us?
I just want to know, how can somebody tear up a person's property?
Okay, but that's
like
not
that?
but that's not something that the inspector can respond to. What we will do once the city completes its case, then you can tell us your understanding of everything, okay? But
Well,
just
what
for the
about
moment.
if I ask the inspector, how could you go there just taking her word and not even get in contact with me to see if anything was done?
Okay, Miss Martin, this is how this is done. The inspector responds to a complaint. They go to the
Right.
location, they
Right.
write the violation notices, and then they mail them to the owner. Now, the address that was available, did you get the notices in the mail?
Yes, I got the notes. I went right down there, put in a
Okay.
pill.
Did you
I put in
attempt
the
to?
pill.
Okay, but did you call the inspector or send an email to the
I
inspector?
called the first inspector that I got, because it was two different inspectors. I called, and she said that, all they had to do was come down there, L&I, put in a pill. That's exactly what I did.
Okay, but
The
you
second
know.
one is
Okay.
uh-huh.
Okay. All right. I think we've answered the questions that you posed. Let's do this so we can try to move through this. Do we
I
have?
don't even want the house.
Wait, ma'am, wait a minute. I'm speaking at the moment. I'm speaking. Okay. Do we have any further witnesses for the city?
No, I don't have anything further. I would just ask that my exhibits be moved into evidence.
Okay. The information that you submitted, exhibits are moved. for the file, for the record. Ms. Martin, now tell us your understanding of what's going on with the property.
I haven't, like I said, I haven't had no dealings down there with that property since 2022 of August. I didn't know nothing about anything going on until I got this notice about property. Other than I have had no communication with her. None at all. She's just been in the house. That's it. I don't have anything else to say to her.
Okay.
Because this is supposed to be a family member. Nobody's supposed to do nothing like that. And the rent, she don't pay rent. She just living, she's squatting now. She's been squatting for 2 years. And I don't want no money. She's
Okay.
supposed to pay the water bill. She don't pay the water bill. All this is on me. I have no money. All the money that has accumulated in that house that I paid her, if there's any violation, she should pay. And another thing, that fence was not like that. She
Okay.
is destroying it inside and out. That's
Ms.
all I have
Martin,
to say.
have you officially attempted to have her evicted?
I went through the whole process. Yes, I did. I did the whole thing, the quit, the eviction thing, everything, serving her papers and everything. She went to fair housing. And like I said, all this started like a
Okay.
snowball effect.
Wait. You aren't finishing this thought, though. I want you to complete the thought. What happened at the end of the eviction process? Why is she evicted? Why didn't you not evict her?
I evicted her because number one, my house.
I said, why you
it was-
did not? Why didn't you complete the eviction process?
I did everything. I did everything up to the point she went to fair housing. After
Yeah.
she got the eviction and everything, she went to fair housing, told all these lies to fair housing. From fair housing, she jumped down to L&I. That's
So what
happened.
did Fair Housing say?
They're going to tell me because she said that because she said I'm putting her out because of rent. It wasn't because of rent. My house was full of antique. I'm 72 years old. I like old stuff. She
Okay.
got rid of everything in my
Okay,
house.
no, Miss Martin, you're getting off into another area. So let me ask you this: do you have a lawyer who represents you?
I don't have one. No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't have-
ma'am, you need someone to help you with this, either a lawyer or a real estate professional who can help you with this.
Mhm.
Okay. Now you've submitted an appeal today to your appeal is to have the board to review the actions that were taken by the city. And you want us to determine whether or not the city's actions were fair or not to you as the owner.
Right.
Okay. Now, is your name the only name on the deed to this property?
Yes, that's my name is on there.
Okay. So that's the only thing we can do. We're not here to deal with your tenant or
I
whether or not they
understand.
should be there or not. So our response is to only review the city's actions to see if the city
Yeah.
did the right thing in the right way. So that's why we're here today. Okay.
Can I say
So
one more thing?
sure.
Prior to this lady, I didn't even know she had came out. It was another lady before. It was just so happened I was down there that July before I had to try to get her out. She had took a tub and a toilet out my house and just put it on the front of the house where that gate is. If I hadn't have been there, I would have got a violation for that.
Okay. Who did
I-
that? The tenant or the inspector?
Yes, the tenant.
The
She
tenant.
had
Okay.
she had
Okay.
my tub in the front. I went around the back of my house, and there was the toilet. I would have been liable for that. And
Yes, you would have.
And the landlords, I mean, and the officer said to me, this young lady, she said, if I didn't have that removed within 24 hours. No, it was less hours than that because she was going to come back. She gave me a break because once I told her, I didn't take that tub out. She said,
Okay.
well, I'm going to give you a break. She said, by 4:30, if that's not removed, she said, I'm going to have to write you up. That's when I told the tenant, you got to get this tub out of here. She wasn't supposed to even take it out there.
Okay. Ms.
But
Martin,
that's not-
understood. That's the actions of the tenant. And so
Right.
you have a lot more work to do to
I
have your house
understand.
vacated, okay? And to decide whether you want to keep the house or sell the house. That's
I
up to
don't
you.
want to do nothing.
Okay, but you're going to, as the owner, you're
I
required
understand.
to maintain your house in a certain level of condition by the city, okay? All right.
Even though it was violated by the tenant?
Even if the tenant does things they shouldn't do, you still held responsible as the owner. The city holds you responsible as the owner, okay?
But when I try to get her
So
out, what was that?
that's why you need legal and or other
All right.
professional help,
All
okay?
right.
You're
All
gonna have
right.
to get some help.
All
Okay.
right.
Any other testimony or evidence to be submitted by anyone?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Any other?
Can I say something? Mr. Tennant knows me. Roger Tennant knows me. He knows what kind of. I worked for the city when I was down there. He knows what type of person it is. He's been in my home. He knows what it is.
Okay, but Ms. Martin, that's not relevant to the decision we have to make. All we are able to do is to determine if the city took the appropriate action when they went to inspect the property.
Okay.
Mr. Tennant, I don't know if you need to put anything on the record.
I'm Mr. Chair. She just brought that to my attention. I was not aware that and did not recognize her or her name. And now that she's brought that to my attention, I see now that I have, as in previous positions with the city, worked with her in her position with the city as well. So with that said, I'm going to have to recuse myself from this, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. So noted the record that Mr. Tennant is recused. He will not participate in deliberations on this. Okay. All righty.
Mr. Chairman, can we go to the executive session?
Yes, sure. Let's do that. Just for a moment, we're going to go off the record. Oh, before we do that, before we go off the record, Mr. Kelly, any closing argument?
Just briefly, I mean, the city, based upon the testimony and the evidence presented today in the photographs, we're seeking a city affirm. Inspector Tolbert credibly testified about her initial inspection, the violations that she observed there, the photographs that she took. I'm absolutely understanding and sympathetic to the story that Ms. Martin has presented today. However, the purpose of today's hearing is just to determine whether or not these violations were validly written at the time that they were. And I think that the only answer here is yes. I haven't really heard a contestation of the violations themselves. And I do agree that I think these are probably bigger issues that might need a larger discussion with Ms. Martin.
Okay, thank you. Let's go into breakout session. Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, Mr.
Yes.
Kelly, would you be sympathetic to some reasonable period of time to have the appellant try to resolve the violations?
Like a state of enforcement?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
let's go into the breakout room. On the record, this is a continuous hearing for HA 2023-001104, 2528 West Oakdale Street, Linda Martin. After our consideration in executive session, we've heard all the evidence and testimony. We're prepared to call the vote on this matter. I'll begin the vote with city affirm with a 180-day stay of enforcement.
You're muted, Ralph. You're muted.
Got it. City affirmed with a 180-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with a 180-day stay of enforcement.
Mr. Chair, according to the policy, I'm going to recuse myself from the vote.
So noted.
City affirmed with a 180-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm and 100-day stay in enforcement.
City affirm 180-day stay of enforcement.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Washington, just want to clarify, was it your intent to say 180 days?
180
Okay,
days
thank you so
stay of
much.
enforcement.
Thank you. That's a unanimous vote. Ms. Martin, what you just heard and witnessed is that the board has confirmed the city's application of the code and denied your appeal, but also has given you 180 days to, without any additional enforcement action, which means you have 6 months. You need to take advantage of that time to hire an attorney or services of another professional who can help you complete the process of vacating the property and responding to these violation notices. You may want to talk to the Senior Law Center in Philadelphia or the Philadelphia Bar Association that has a unit that provides advice, at some limited level of advice for persons who need support without the financial means. And so that's what we would recommend, okay?
I appreciate that.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Roger.
Okay. Ms. Talbot, you excuse?
Thank you.
Mr. Wade, is there anything else?
Several matters have been asked to be called.
Okay.
The next matter is case 37. Hearing appeal
37.
ending. Hearing appeal ending 1332, 4928 Brown Street, Charlene Graham.
Okay. Who's handling that? Okay, Ms. Graham, just for a moment. I just need you to speak initially with the lawyer representing the city.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Kristen Patchell for the city.
Okay, Ms. Patchell, what is that you want to present?
Yes, good afternoon, members of the board. This is for a site violation notice. I do have one inspector, Inspector Brett McDonald, who was present on the call.
Okay. Just before we do that, Charlene Graham, if you're present, we need you to turn on your video.
Hello, can you see me?
Yes, we can see you now. Just hold the phone back a bit from your face because we need to see your full. Thank you. That's perfect.
Is
right
that
there.
better?
That's much better. Right there is good.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All I have is my phone. I don't have a camera on my computer.
Okay, well, let's do this. Can you turn the volume up on your phone? That may be helpful if you turn the volume up. But let's get this initial phase out of the way.
How about that? Is that better?
Look, we need you to hold it back from your face.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Would you raise your right hand so that you can be sworn? Can you hear me? Please raise your right hand so that you can be sworn. Raise your right hand so you can be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you receive will be the truth so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What I'm going to ask at this time, Ms. Patchell, is that Ms. Graham turn off her video now that we've confirmed who she is, and we will proceed with her just on the audio. Okay?
Of course, Chairman.
All right. Ms. Graham, you can turn your video off because we need you to be able to hear everything that's going on.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? And so, Ms. Graham, would you need to pay close attention to what we're doing so you don't speak out of turn. We'll call on you when we need you to speak, okay? Ms. Graham?
Is that okay now?
Long as can you hear us?
I can, yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just asking you not to speak out until we call you and ask you to speak, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Patchell, who is your witness today?
Yes, the city would call Inspector Brett McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, would you raise your right hand so you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. You can put your hand down. Okay, Ms. Patchell, please proceed.
Yes. Good afternoon, Inspector McDonald.
Good afternoon.
Where are you currently employed?
License and inspections, City of Philadelphia.
And what is your title at LNI?
Property maintenance and fire code violations, code enforcement.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Patchell, I'm going to have to ask just for a moment. Mr. McDonald, can you ask your co-workers to quiet down, please? Because we're hearing all their voices bleeding into the hearing.
Okay. Hold on a second. Hello?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Ms.
Can I
Patchell.
proceed? Okay.
Yes.
Now, Inspector McDonald, what are your roles and responsibilities with your position at LNI?
Just to enforce code violations, fire code violations, property maintenance violations.
And
with the city.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off.
Yeah, with the city of Philadelphia. Yeah.
Okay. And as part of your duties with the department, did you become familiar with a property at 4928 Brown Street?
Yes, vaguely. Yes.
Okay. Did you go out to that property?
Yes.
Okay. Permission to share my screen?
Yes.
Can everyone see what's on screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Just need you to, if you could magnify it a bit.
Sure.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Can you see that, Inspector?
Yes.
Okay. Now, why did you go out to 4928 Brown Street?
It was a complaint on the property.
And when you went out, did you complete an inspection?
Yes.
Okay. What, if anything, did you do?
When I went there, I think it was for an exterior complaint for the front. And that's when I got there for that. That was unfounded, but I think I noticed someone was in the door. Can't really remember, but also that the property didn't have a rental license on it once I did my research.
Okay. Now, what did you do in response?
I issued the site violation notice.
And would you recognize that if you saw it?
Yes.
I'd like to draw your attention to what is on my screen. It's been marked City 1. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what, if anything, is this?
This is a site violation notice for a non-rental license.
Okay. And who was this issued to, Inspector?
Charlene Graham.
Okay. And is there anything of note with respect to the address of Miss Graham?
That is the off-site address. Is 550 East Woodlawn Street, Philadelphia, PA.
And does the site violation notice indicate on what day you went out to perform the inspection?
Yes. It was February 24th of 2023.
And is that the date of the notice, Inspector?
Yes.
Okay. Did you actually go to the property, however, on the 23rd of February?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you cite in the site violation notice for your code violation?
Just the the owner of the property that owns one or two family dwelling must obtain a rental license. Okay.
Where are rental licenses typically documented?
In the Eclipse system.
Okay. And Inspector, I'm going to move on to what has been pre-marked as City Exhibit 2. Do you recognize what is on screen there?
Yes, that's the property.
Okay. And did you take a photograph to document your presence at the property?
Yes.
Okay. Continuing to what has been marked as City Exhibit C3. Inspector, I'm just going to zoom out a bit. Do you recognize what is on screen there?
Yes.
Is this a screenshot of the Eclipse system?
Yes.
Are all rental licenses preserved in the Eclipse system?
Yes.
And at some point, did Miss Graham have a rental license?
She did at one point.
And at some point, did it expire?
Yes. Yes.
And at what point did it become inactive?
April 29th of 2020.
Okay. And you were out at this property on February 23rd of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so on the day you were out, Miss Graham did not, in fact, have a rental license, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And to this day, does Miss Graham have a rental license?
No.
Thank you, Inspector. I don't have any further questions. I offer for cross.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Graham, now this is an opportunity for you to question Mr. McDonald based on his testimony. Do you have any questions for him? Ms. Graham?
No, I don't. I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Patchell, do you have any additional witnesses?
I have no additional witnesses. I would just ask to move the city's exhibits into the record.
Okay, exhibits moved for the record. Ms. Graham, so tell us your understanding of why you've submitted this appeal.
I submitted the appeal because I've been owning this property since about 1997, I think it was. And I was never made aware that I needed the reason why I don't have a rental license is because I don't have a LET certification. That is my hold up. And as a result, like I said, I've been renting this property for years. I never knew about I needed a lead cert. There's never been small children renting and living in the house. I'm also a certified Section 8 landlord. They never required me to have a lead cert. And I'm sorry, but I might speak a little louder. I am hearing impaired, so I don't mean anyone any disrespect, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But, so 2020 came, I thought my tenants were moving. They didn't pay rent for 3 months. They didn't move. So I started trying to get a rent. I wasn't made aware I needed a rental license to begin with until I got the citation. The city has never made it clear to me that I needed a lead cert. All the other times that I got my rental license, I never needed lead cert. So I'm in the process of getting one now. I've had the property painted. There are no small children in the house. The tenants are difficult. They're moving out on March 31. And at that time, I will be able to go in and do the final work. Mr. Gregory Holmes has been working with me. He's been to the home on several occasions. I just need a few more things I have to do in order to get my lead certification so that I can get my rental license. And please forgive me, but I've been working as hard as I can to get this done.
Okay. Ms. Pasher, do you have any questions of Ms. Graham?
Just briefly, Chairman. So good afternoon, Ms. Graham.
Good afternoon.
You did have a rental license for this property at one point, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you indicated that you have tenants that are still in the property at this point?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. But you do not still have the rental license active, correct?
No, I haven't been able to get it because I can't get the lead certification done in order to get it now. They changed the rules.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Anything from anyone else?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to confirm, Ms. Graham, you said you've owned the house since 1997. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the city records show that a rental license was obtained for every year through April of 2020. So you did get rental licenses for about 20 years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So you do know how to get a rental license then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
But as I stated, they never required lead certification in order to get a rental license until recently.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. If there's nothing else from anyone, we will call the vote on number 37, HA 2023-001332, 4928 Brown Street, Charlene Brown. Just want to make sure. Charlene Graham, my apologies. I misspoke on the name. Charlene Graham. City affirm.
Mr. Chairman, I propose a city affirm, but a 60-day stay. She said the tenants are moving out, and I would like to give her the opportunity to try to rectify the violation.
Okay. All righty. We city affirm 60-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm 60-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm with a 60-day stay of enforcement.
Excuse me, I apologize.
Not in the middle of a vote, man.
Yes.
Is it something critical? Is it something critical?
I just wanted to note that this is a site violation notice. I'm not sure that we can do stays of enforcement for that. It's not a regular code violation.
Okay, let's do this. This is highly unorthodox and unusual. Let's take a quick session in executive session, please. All right, thank you for pointing out that detail. We will now recall the vote on HA 2023-001332, Charlene Graham, city affirmed.
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 Okay, thank you. A unanimous vote, city affirmed. Ms. Graham, what that means is that you've lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision. And if you need information as to how to appeal a decision of the board, please call the board administrator's office, and they will give you the information that you need. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, and good day, everyone.
Okay, the inspector's excused. Ms. Paschal, unless there's something else you have with us, you excuse as well.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wade.
Brings us to back to case number 1. Hearing appeal ending 0857, 6641 Chew Avenue. Abe Majared. Abe Majared. I don't see anyone in the waiting room under that name. Everyone is identified. Actually, there's one phone number unidentified.
Okay, you want to do that? Well, do we need to wait for that confirmation?
Service was made, and no one is responding to Abe for 6641 Chew Avenue.
Okay, 6641 Chew Avenue, Abe Mojared. Anyone present? No one is responding. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Chairman Woodson. Mary Costello on behalf of the city.
What is your pleasure?
We would ask for a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time do we have?
2:19 p.m.
2:19 p.m. Well, with regard to HA 2023-000857, 6641 Chew Avenue, Abe Mojared, Mojarad. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wade, I think that closes that matter.
There's 2 remaining cases, case 41 and case 51. There was a request to hear case 51. I'll call that now. Case 51, hearing appeal ending 0542, 1435 North 12th Street, Vernita Smith.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Amy Skiles on behalf of the city for this matter.
Okay. The appellant present, Vernita Smith.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Smith, if you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn, do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Skiles, do you have a witness?
Yes, I would be calling Inspector Wallace.
Okay. Inspector Wallace, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yep.
But we didn't hear you, sir?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right. Ms. Skiles?
Yes.
Please proceed.
Yes. Good afternoon, Inspector Wallace. Where are you currently employed?
City license and inspection for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, and what are some of your roles and responsibilities with the Department of License and Inspections?
I'm a code enforcement inspector, so I inspect residential, commercial, anything existing conceivably.
Okay, and throughout the course of your duties with the department, have you become familiar with the property located at 1435 North 12th Street?
Yes.
And how have you become familiar with that property?
There was a complaint submitted in regards to the property being occupied by squatters.
And so did you conduct an inspection of the property?
Yes.
And what did you discover at your inspection?
That there was no electric service at the property. That the front window to the property was boarded up from, looked like it was a fire at the property. And the front window was boarded up. The window itself was broken out. There were window bars that were still in place, but the window itself was removed.
Okay. And so based on your observations, did you issue a notice of violation?
Yes. An intent to cease.
And an intent to cease? Okay. And with the board's permission, I will now share my screen.
Yes.
Okay, Inspector Wallace, can you see what is currently on the screen identified as City Exhibit 1?
Yes, it's a violation. It's a notice of violation.
Okay, and what date was this notice issued?
January 31st, 2024.
Okay, and did you issue this notice of violation?
Yes.
Okay. And so what violations did you issue to this property?
Number one, unfit. The property was unfit because there wasn't any legal electric service. There were 2 violations to have the electricity restored. There was a violation written to have the window replaced in the front. There was a violation written to have the fixed window bars removed. And the damage, fire from the cornice was damaged.
And which of these, okay, so let me move on to City Exhibit 2. What is identified? What is the photograph in City Exhibit 2?
That's the front of the house where the front window is boarded up, and those that we're looking at are fixed window bars. They're not hingeable. They're not removable at all. They're just fixed to the property itself.
Okay, and is that a violation of the code?
Yes.
Okay. And what's identified in this photograph?
That's the damaged cornice.
Okay. And what's identified in this photograph?
The address, and again, those fixed window bars and a broken out front window.
Okay. And so there were some violations that were cause for you to issue an intent to cease.
Correct.
And which violations are those?
That there was no legal electric service at the property.
Okay. And how do you know that there's no legal electrical service to the property?
I contacted PECO.
Okay.
Philadelphia Electrical Company.
Okay. And so based on your research into the property and your inspection of the property, you issued an intent to cease.
Correct.
Okay. And is that the document that's been identified as City Exhibit 3?
Yes.
Okay. And what would be needed in order to satisfy the intent to cease or cause you not to issue the intent to cease?
The electricity needs to be restored to the property legally by PECO.
Okay. And when did you last inspect the property?
I actually did a reinspection today.
Today? Okay. And did you take photographs of your inspection today?
Yes, I did.
And City Exhibit 4, is this a photograph that you took today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is that blue notice on the door?
The blue poster is posted as because the property was unfit for human occupancy for the lack of electrical service.
Okay. And you also see, so were you able to confirm, do you know if legal electricity has been restored to the property?
I talked with PECO this morning, and the electric service has not been restored, and it was disconnected December 22nd of 2022.
Okay. And so based on your inspection today, all of the violations that you issued in your initial notice of violation, do those remain in violation?
Correct.
And as of today, does the property still remain unfit for human occupancy?
Correct.
Would occupying the property cause a hazard to the health and safety of any occupant?
Yes.
And why would occupancy cause a hazard to the health and safety of
there's no legal electricity, so there shouldn't be any lights on at the property. There shouldn't be any lights. If the heat is electric, there's no heat in the property. Whatever utilities are anything in the property that's being ran by electric is not on because there's no legal electricity. Now, if the electricity is on, it's not on legally.
Okay. Okay. I have no further questions for Inspector Wallace at this time.
Okay, thank you. Before we proceed, though, given the nature of the testimony thus far, I need to establish standing for Ms. Renita Smith. Ms. Smith,
right here. Yes.
What is your relationship to this property?
It was my grandmother's property, which is Claudia Williams, and it was passed down to her daughter and her son, which is Ruth Smith and John Williams. That is my uncle and also my mother.
Okay. And is your name on the deed?
My name is not on the deed right now.
Okay.
As my father is actually sitting here right now, and he's going to put his name on the deed.
Okay, but at the moment, your name is not on the deed, and you're the person who submitted the appeal.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a lease for the property?
No, it's an owned property.
Okay. All right. Ms. Giles, would you unmute?
Yes.
What is your review? It sounds like we have a major standing issue here.
If I would, are you, Ms. Smith, are you the occupant of the property?
Yes. It's a family home, but I'm the occupant.
Oh, so as the occupant, I believe Ms. Smith does have standing to challenge the cease as we're asking for the property to be ceased.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to clear that up before we move forward. Okay. Ms. Smith, do you have any questions of Mr. Wallace, the inspector, based on his testimony?
No, not at the moment. I do want to say that
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Until the city finishes their case, then you can present your case. But
Okay, gotcha.
do you
Not at the
have
moment.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Giles, do you have any additional witnesses or testimony?
No additional witnesses. I would just ask to move the city exhibits into the record.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Smith, now is your opportunity to respond as to why you submitted this appeal.
Okay, so I submitted this appeal because I would like to have time to fire and the electricity was turned off.
Okay.
So the windows is also a result of the fire as well.
Okay.
And if I could have time to restore the electricity and also to redo the property, like fix the windows and fix the electrical issue.
Okay. All right, Ms. Giles, do you have any cross-examination?
Is there so there's no electricity in the property?
Exactly. Yes.
Is there are there any utilities? Do you have gas or water?
I do have gas.
Okay. Is it gas heat? Is the property being heated?
No.
Okay.
It's ran really by electricity.
Okay. And what about water? Do you have any water?
Not at the moment.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
I have two questions, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Ms. Smith.
Good afternoon.
Is the utilities in your name?
They're not. Well, the gas is in my name, and actually, the electric was in my name as well.
When did you take it out of you? When did it come out of your name?
It didn't come out of my name. The gas is still in my name.
And the electric?
And the electric is also in my name.
The electric is in your name?
Yes.
Do you have a lease?
No, it's a family-owned home. I don't have a lease. I'm not leasing.
So you don't have a rental agreement to be in the property that's not in your name, correct?
Correct, but my father and my mother allowed me to be in the property.
No more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Are there other questions?
I have a question.
I have a question.
Okay, Ms. Penn and then Mr. Pincus.
So, Ms. Smith, you just testified that you have no, I believe you testified that you have no running water in the house. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, no, I'm sorry. That's not true. Yes, it is running. Yes. No electrical, and I have gas.
Do you have a gas heater in the house?
A gas heater?
Is your heater?
Yes. Like a water heater?
No, not your water heater. I mean, is the heat for the house provided by gas versus an electric heating system?
No, it's ran by electric.
So how are you in the house in the winter months and staying warm?
I'm not warm.
Okay. No further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Chenna, I'm sorry, Mr. Pincus.
I think the city, someone reported, the inspector said that he checked with PECO and the electric service was turned off in December 22nd of 2022.
No. It may have been, but it was actually restored. I have a lockbox on my electrical unit.
When was the fire?
The fire, it was August 9th, or the 6th. I'm not even sure of the date. I'm sorry.
What year?
2023 or 2022, one of those.
Would, if you're saying you're trying to repair it, if you had insurance, wouldn't they have come out? Or maybe you didn't have adequate insurance.
I didn't have adequate insurance, sir.
How do you expect to be able to repair the property?
My father is actually sitting here. He's in the process of putting the property in his name and restoring everything.
But in the meantime, you're living in a property with no electric service?
That's correct.
And you have heat or you don't have heat?
I don't.
Thank you.
Mr. Tennant?
Yes, Ms. Smith, you said your father is there with you and living with you. How long has he been living?
No, I'm sorry. He's not living with me. He's sitting here with me right now. If you would like to reference him and speak to him, he's sitting here.
No questions for your father. A question to you, how old is your father, may I ask?
He's 89.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Smith, are there any children in the property?
No, sir.
Okay. Alrighty. Anyone else have any questions? Ms. Smith, I guess the other question would be, why do you continue to live in the property without adequate utilities?
I don't know. I guess I didn't want anybody to break in. Just to protect the property.
Okay, there are other ways to do that, but okay, thank you.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, Ms. Skiles, any final argument?
We would just be asking for a city affirm today, and to be able to move forward with the cease operations. As you heard, this property is unfit for human occupancy at this time, and the department would like to cease the property until those utilities could be restored.
Okay, thank you. Before we call the vote, I just want to say this, Ms. Smith, any property in the city of Philadelphia without heat, particularly during the winter, as well as power, electrical service, which affects your ability to have heat, is unfit for human habitation.
I understand.
Okay, and it's our responsibility to be responsible, and you as a citizen to be responsible, and to have people in those circumstances. Okay. All right, thank you. We're going to call the vote on HA-2024-000542, 1435 North 12th Street, Bernita Smith, City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
I'm sorry, and what does this mean?
City affirmed.
We're still voting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
City affirmed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. City affirmed.
City affirmed. That means, ma'am, there was a unanimous vote. The city affirmed, meaning affirmed the city's violation notice, and your appeal was lost based on that vote. You may appeal our decision, and if you need information as to how you appeal the decision of the board, you should call the board administrator. That number is on the letter that you received, the communications that you received from LNI. Okay?
So I have a few questions.
Well, just
sorry,
one or two, because we've concluded the hearing, but what else? What question do you have?
Does this mean that the property is being ceased?
Yes, and it means you have to move.
I mean, I understand that, but how can I get the work done?
Well, you can get the work done. Whoever just get a permit and get the work done. Just hire contractors and get the work done. You don't have to live there to do that.
Okay, so when you say you cease it, do they padlock it or what's the issue?
They cease it, meaning it has to be vacated. And the city license and inspectors will work with the owner or the owner's representative to make sure the house is secured, etc. Because the owner of record will continue to get violations and be taken to court if they don't follow the rules.
Okay. Also, how long do I have to vacate the property?
I think it's immediately, but you need to call the inspector's name who's noted on the violation notice.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, Ms. Skiles?
No, nothing further from me.
Yeah, Inspector Wallace, you're excused. Ms. Skiles, you're excused. Have a good day. Mr. Wade, do we have anything else?
The last case for today, case 41, hearing appeal ending 1380. 1629 Wamrath Street, Phyllis Cordero, Jason Cordero.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
I excused you too early. Sorry about that. Okay. Do we have anyone present representing Phyllis Cordero or Jason Cordero? I see a Jason Cordero, but it's muted.
Paying attention.
Yeah. Mr. Cordero, if you could unmute yourself, or Mr. Wade, if you could help him.
I'll try and reach out to the number on the.
Hello?
Okay. Jason Cordero?
Yes.
Okay. And there was another person, Phyllis Cordero. Is she present?
No, she's at work.
Okay. Mr. Wade, who was the appellate in this matter?
It's the appellant's name is Phyllis Cordero, and Jason Cordero is named in parentheses next to it.
Okay. What is your relationship with Phyllis Cordero, sir?
She's my stepmother.
Phyllis Cordero is your stepmother?
Yes.
Okay. Whose name is on the deed to the property?
Phyllis Cordero.
And she's the owner of the property?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Ms. Skiles, we do have another standing question.
Yes. There's also, I would raise two issues at the outset. One would be standing. Phyllis Cordero is the only record holder. She's the only person named on the deed. So I would object to Mr. Cordero's standing to this matter. The appeal was also filed untimely. The violations were issued January 27th, 2023, and the appeal was not received until March 27th, 2023. So I would also object to the timeliness of this appeal.
Okay. All right. But given that we don't have Ms. Cordero present, so I think where we're going to start today is to deal with the issue of standing. Mr. Cordero, given that you are not a owner of the property, you don't have standing to represent the interests of this property in this hearing. Understood? So either Phyllis Cordero has to be present, or you have to have a lawyer representing you.
Okay.
Okay. And now, in addition to that, we aren't going to hear this today because Phyllis isn't present. And so we're going to have to continue it. But remind her or share with her that you have a standing issue. There's a 30-day window to appeal any violation notice. You didn't do that. So we may not hear it the next time. We may be dismissed for timeliness, but we're going to have to reschedule this.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, so the record should note that this matter has been continued, and we will ask that it be rescheduled, and Ms. Phyllis Cordero, the owner of record, must be present, or an attorney representing her interests. Okay, anything else from anyone? If not, you excuse. Okay, Mr. Cordero, you're permitted to leave. So this matter is being continued. Okay, Mr. Wade, do we have anything else?
That's the entire list.
Okay. If there's nothing from anyone else, that will conclude today's hearing. I see a number of people who are still present. I don't know if anyone has a matter that has not been resolved. Okay. Most of those folk are law department staff who are, I guess, participating via just to see what's going on. Okay.
People are still, their screens are still up.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for participating today, and have a good afternoon. You excuse.
Mr. Chair, can we have this a real quick, maybe 5-minute breakout session?
Yes. Sure. Let's do that.
For 5 minutes.
Okay.